Well, hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my summertime ragtime. Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, what he said.
You know what time it is. It's time for some checkers and wreckers. Howdy.
Howdy. Hey, we are your hosts for Checkers and Wreckers. I'm Howdy, and he's Tommy Boy.
Hello, hello, hello. We got plenty of fun to talk about here today. Oh, Dustin Helms is in a low. He's in a nightmare today. Electrical problems on a car. Good luck, sir. Good luck. Hopefully you find it quick. Hopefully you find it quick there. So, H2K, what's going on? Kaysen and family. You got Brad Haldane. Well, looking, he was on there. We were talking to. He wasn't talking to us. Now he wants to talk to us. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Hey, while Kaysen's on here, I got a funny little story. I don't know if I told you or not. So we went last Sunday and bought a cart. Well, the guy we bought the cart off of, it was supposed to be down at Whiteland Saturday. He knows Kaysen and his family, and they were going to take it down there.
Oh, nice. Very nice. There you go. Look at that. Excuse me. And he said, yeah, he's chasing it. It's a nightmare. Uh-oh, that's no fun. So, yeah, like I said, plenty of stuff to talk about here today. Put the carts in the trailer. Brandon said you gotta pack it up here. Hey, that just means you get to bust out the sim now.
No, it's not a sad day because, see, then you bring the cart in the garage, and then in the wintertime you go through and you massage it, and you just double, triple, quadruple check everything. There's, just have it in the garage so you can tinker with it.
If you're Thomas Gould, I could see him right now. He'd be touching it every day, just touching something. Just, what can I touch today? What can I touch today? I can see you being, yep, I was pointing the right way. I can see you being the same way with something like that. What can I touch today?
When I go to work every morning, as soon as I walk out the door in the garage, my cart's sitting right there, and I that's the first thing I do. I look at it, and then I get in my car and go to work.
Yep. We're good. So, yep, the countdown to Daytona is on. They'll be heading out there. I think that's the week after Christmas there. So good luck to everybody out there. I'd love to get out there and cover that, but we'll see. I think that's a pipe dream there, not a dream. Well, you got to back mom's car out. It's racing. You got to back mom's car out there. Good luck with that. Good luck. Good morning to Austin Taylor there as well. Did you see that picture of Kaysen and Austin?
Yes, I did. That was pretty awesome.
And I think we talked to it. Oh, that had to be so cold out there that day. You were out there. You were enjoying some of that. But, hey, we'll get right into the fancy dancy here, if we will, and talk a little bit of you like him, you love him. He's kind of that I'm not going to compare him to Jeff Gordon as far as driving, but as far as the personality goes, I really feel like he fits that style. Chase Elliott takes the win and walks away as your champion in NASCAR series here. You think he deserves it this year?
I got mixed emotions on that. I'm not going to say that he doesn't deserve it. I just don't like the one race crowns a champion. I don't like that. I will never like that format.
So
but congratulations to Chase. And like I said, I'm not saying he's not deserving. He had a great season.
If you look out throughout the year, you see Harvick with 9 wins. Chase does have 5 wins on the year. So, yeah. I mean, not a bad season whatsoever. I do see what you're saying. I mean, we talked about that in depth last week. But at the end of the day, he walks away. He's the champion. And like I said, he's got that Gordon mentality where the personality where you love him or you hate him, because there's, I'm going to say about 75, 80% of NASCAR right now, they're behind him. The other 20, they can't stand him.
Well, the thing about Chase is, you have a lot of your Gordon fans end up becoming either Jimmy Johnson or Dale Jr. fans.
Oh, well, I went to Chase, though.
Okay, but when Chase come along, and then you had Gordon, Earnhardt Jr. step away. So, and Chase was coming on the scene. So you had a lot of those fans become Chase Elliott fans. Jimmy Johnson fans, I'm sure a lot of them will switch over and become Chase Elliott fans. So I definitely think Chase Elliott is the most popular driver in NASCAR right now.
Oh, Chuck asked, who's the more legitimate champion, Chase this year or Kenseth the year he won with the consistency? I think that's a good question. And I think
that is a very good question.
At the end of the day, I still think I would hand it to Chase.
I think I agree with that. I think I'll have to go with Chase too. I mean, not take anything away from Kenseth and his team that year. They performed like a champion should, like I've said before. That's what a championship team does. But so did Chase this year, and they threw 5 wins on top of it. So he did everything he needed to do. So yeah, I think he's deserving of winning the championship.
And Josh Hessen says they're Hendrick fans, not necessarily the specific driver fans, and that's where I disagree, because I will say I guess I would cheer for Jimmy somewhat after Gordon was coming out of the sport there, but I've always stuck to my single driver. I mean, I'm a Chase Elliott guy in NASCAR. That's I like him. I've liked him since he came in there. But I'm not a fan of Bowman. I'm not a fan of Byron. Do I want to see those guys do good as a Hendrick, as a team? Absolutely. But it's not so much because I like Dak Prescott on the Cowboys. I like Ezekiel Elliott. It's not so much a team based. You like the Cowboys as a whole, if you will. I know that's kind of a weird kind of comparison.
Right, and I have to agree with that because I was an Earnhardt Senior fan, and then I went to being a junior fan, and it had nothing to do with Hendrick Motorsports. I mean, I was a junior fan when he was DEI, and then when he went to Hendrick, I was still a junior fan. So I don't think it's necessarily the team. Now, I know there are some fans that, are all about Team Hendrick. Nothing wrong with that. If you're behind a team, cool. But I thought it was cool going back to Chase Elliott. how he went through Dawsonville, Georgia.
Yeah, drove
and
the car.
He drove his car and was down in, town square doing burnouts and donuts and crap like that. And my cousin Tammy, she's been on the show. Well, she's commented on the show.
Right.
Before.
Yep. I know who you're talking about.
She was actually there and got to witness it.
Nice. Heck yeah. So she was right outside the bar there.
Well, her boss was nice enough to let her off work early that day because she doesn't live in Dawsonville, so she had to leave work and drive there. And I don't know exactly where she was at, but she got to see it.
So I would say, let's touch on. I like this debate here, kind of with Kenseth and Elliott here, and really, I love to hear Kyle's opinion on this because Kyle's love for NASCAR. I believe he followed NASCAR. I could be wrong. Kyle, correct me, during that Kenseth time. So I just think if you look at it overall, because Brad says Kenseth by far, he had to be good all year, but Chase wasn't bad. I mean, he had a couple bad finishes, but at the end of the day, Kenseth didn't finish in the top 10 the entire time that year. So when you say that, you got to look at Chase Elliott's resume throughout the entirety of the season, not just one section of it, whether it be the playoffs, whether it be the middle or the start. He really had that momentum through the entire year, and he was collecting top 10s.
And here's what I'm going to say about Chase. And we've discussed this last season, and this has been my opinion on Chase since he's been on the Cup side of things, that he hasn't found that consistency. This year he did. And look what happened.
Right.
I mean, he really found his groove, and that team really meshed and gelled together, and they were consistent. They didn't really have, the bad finishes they've had previous seasons. They were pretty consistent, top 15, top 10 all year.
Right. And like I said, I mean, you had your cases where you did wreck. You got a couple DNFs, and yes, Kyle, we are. So, you do have that in both instances. So I really feel like Chase at the end of the day comes out on top of this. So, he says, is that even a debate? I think I don't think he's a big Kenseth fan, in all fairness.
I think Kyle's biased.
He may be. You just lit up like a Christmas tree.
I'm going to Google this and see if I can find the stats on Kenseth that year.
I'd like to know, because I don't know overall, the top 10s that Elliott had this year. I do know he was fairly consistent. He had he was up in those runs. He had a few chase wins, and now I understand. You look at that. You look at Kenseth the year. There wasn't the same scoring there, but I'd also like to see where Chase would have finished or how he would have finished. No, gosh, no. Kyle, sorry. Here, let's rewind here for Kyle because I feel like we got to get him on board here. So, Kyle, we're debating the year that Kenseth won the championship compared to this year with Chase winning the championship. Who was better in their respective years? So, I think that at the end of the day, and there Brad says he didn't have the car to do anything. I disagree there with that too. If you're talking about this year with Kenseth, because let's all admit if Larson was in that car, and you guys would say it too, that he's going to win some races. So I think he does have the car, but what it was with Kenseth this year, and there's nothing against him, but it was a different car. It would have taken him too long. He didn't have the practice, the seat time in this car. I mean, we see the same thing with Jimmy Johnson. I mean, that's why he's stepping out here. So I think that right there is where it is, because the 42 was a good car. You can't deny that.
Okay, so I got the stats here it was 2003 when Kenseth won that championship and only had one race win. So he had 5 finishes of 20th or worse. Only 5 for the whole season, and there was 36 races that season. So 5 out of 36, 20th or below, that's not too shabby.
Right. Absolutely.
And
See, then Kyle agrees with me about Kenseth here this year. I mean, he's a solid driver. Don't get me wrong. And for the situation, I don't think you put somebody. I think if you move somebody up into that car that necessarily wasn't ready, if you pull Austin Cindric, maybe you pull one of those guys up from the Xfinity. When that happens, you could possibly ruin a career. So pulling Kenseth out of the shadows, out of the backstage, and back into there, I think was a solid, a good idea for one season. They now they could back up, they could punt, and they could figure out, okay, who are we going to put in the 42 car next year, and how are we going to move this Ganassi team forward?
Right. And so staying on the Kenseth deal, I'm still looking at stats here. He had 25 finishes, top 10 finishes, 25.
He's a hand talker today.
So you got 25 top 10 finishes, 5 finishes of 20th or worse, and then you had 6 finishes of 10th to 20th right in there. So that's a pretty consistent season.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm not disagreeing there. So what I want you now to look up is, if you can, Elliott's season here this year. Let's compare.
I'm getting on that.
He's already on it. He's already lit up here. You can see when he's on his computer. It's like I said, it's like that, on the cartoons where the light like shines down on him. Oh. It's kind of what it looks like there. So Kyle says, I think the wins topple top 5s and 10s. Bottom line, Elliott finished 2020 with 5 wins. I believe Kenseth had 1 in his championship season. Yes, but, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think, this is something we've debated. This is something NASCAR fans will debate for years to come, is do the wins matter as much as the consistency throughout an entire season? That's where I think the debate really comes up. That's why the chase was invented. Excuse me. And I really do believe that myself, I think for entertainment, people want to see wins. But I think to ride out a season consistently and to be able to be up in the run each and every week, that's going to be the big thing. And I think NASCAR, that's where they need to figure out, and we talked about it last week as well. You throw these 16, these 12, these playoff drivers into a bag at the end of the season, and you let them cook it from there.
Okay, so Chase had 10 finishes of 20th or worse this season.
So 5 more.
Yeah.
But 4 more wins.
Right.
So it kind of balances out there, really. I think you got to look down to it. Now, is there the last thing, if you can look up real quick, is where Chase, because I know somebody has done it, people have, where Chase would have finished in the old points style. See, I'm sure in that old standard, Harvick does get the championship. It's hard to believe that in that points race that a guy with 9 wins doesn't. But you look at Harvick's races outside of those, and I want to say Harvick, he had a few DNFs here and there. He was outside of that top 10 just as much. So Harvick locked it up in Texas, Jarrett Murphy says. So an interesting little deal. So it would have been locked up in Texas for Harvick. So I would assume Chase would have finished second because of his consistency on top of his wins. Because Hamlin I was second in wins. And I want to think, was there somebody in between Hamlin and Chase on the wins? Chase may have been third highest with the wins there. And see, that's exactly, Jarrett. That's what people are saying. That's why you have a Chase now, is because with 3 races left, you look at it today, and that's why I'm wearing it right here. Mercedes. I mean, they locked up the constructors title here last week, and today Lewis Hamilton locks up the championship. And what, we got 2 races left here. Keselowski was third there. So, and I mean, we've talked about it there before. How about the winter and keeping the rust off? How about the virtual racing play into effect? Drivers are enjoying that. Still competitive yet super fun across teams. Yes, I agree. I think they will kind of tie iRacing into the off season, but at the same time, like we've talked to who was it last season during the off season? Was it Marcus? Maybe, but he was talking and he said that really during the off season, these guys still do want to break. So they don't want to be tied to contracts of iRacing. I think it's kind of a you got to fill a field, you got to have so many, but you do need to kind of give them a little break here and there. But I do like the what we saw with NASCAR. I think they did a good job with the iRacing. I don't think IndyCar did as good, but I think now going forward, I think they could really do a good deal there. And I want to see a virtual IROC. I think a virtual IROC.
I still want to see that too.
I think that would be phenomenal.
And I would like to see, if they're going to do that, I'd like to see some diversity in that, where you're not just putting them on asphalt, put them in dirt cars, put them on dirt tracks. I mean, I want to see dirt drivers in there. I want to see IndyCar drivers, right. F1 drivers, IMSA drivers, Cup drivers. I want to see it all.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're really going to have a true international race of champions, you have to take them from every form of racing.
Right. No, Tim, I'm not saying it was bad, but I do think NASCAR, the way they put on the show, the way they did it, I think it was a little more overall competitive. The bad thing about the IndyCar race was that Indy 500 finish. That
McGough.
No, that's I mean Norris should have taken that, hands down. I think Norris definitely won that. Guys in IndyCar didn't want to see it happen virtually. They didn't want their sport getting beat in the pinnacle of the virtual world here by an F1 driver that's never turned a 4-turn left in his life. But I mean, that's where it comes down to. It is a different style of racing. You see Norris, I don't know many professional drivers that are going to go out there, and Verstappen and Norris are at the top of the game when it comes to virtual racing. I think hands down.
Most definitely. I'm surprised we don't see Leclerc in there more. But going back to some of the chit chat going on here, Brooks, I agree with what you said. I would like to see the regular season champion get a bye to the Final Four. I think if you're going to continue to do this chase crap, that should be thrown in there. I mean, if not, what's really the point of being the regular season champion? And then what was the other comment here? Brad, do you think now with Junior being a big part of iRacing that the cars will become better and the teams will use this training and prep more like they do in the F1 series? I do. I think Junior's really going to push NASCAR more into iRacing, and I think there's going to be a lot tighter partnership between iRacing and NASCAR now. And I really think Junior will step in and refine a lot of these things. And being a professional driver, and he's driven a lot of different series in his career. He's driven on dirt. He's driven the old style Cup cars, the new style Cup cars, the car tomorrow, Busch cars, nationwide cars, karts. I mean, Junior's ran about everything you can think of. Well, besides F1 and sprint cars and stuff. But anyways, I think that the development will be a lot better in iRacing now, and I think we got a lot of big changes coming in iRacing.
At the end of the day, I don't think it matters the style, because he's a racer and he's a race fan. So that's the biggest thing, I think, he's not a corporate guy. Yeah, I mean, he is, but he isn't. I mean, he's got the good representation. He's a personable person. He's professional. But at the end of the day, I really think he has the fans' intent in mind, because he doesn't want to go out here. He doesn't need to go out here just to get money. It's not a job for him. You know what I'm saying? He's got that.
No, not at all. He's doing this because, for one, he's a customer of iRacing. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what he started out as a customer of iRacing.
Yep.
And him being a professional racer, I'm sure he got on there and seen things that, hey, this sim would be so much better if they did this, or, these cars would be better if they did this. So I think the partnership with Dale Jr. is really going to help to develop iRacing to the next level. I think we're going to see a lot of good things coming. You know, I think on the dirt side, a lot of guys have complained about having a true cushion on the dirt tracks. I think that's coming. I really think Junior will work towards, and if he can't do it, he'll get a team of guys together that can make this happen.
Right. He's going to get in there. He's going to test it. He's going to be your biggest probably. I mean, it's like setting up a car at the track. Yeah. That's what it is right now. He's got to go out there. He's got to run laps, and I'm sure that's part of what he's doing out there. So I really think that's a solid thing that they're looking into. I agree there, Dustin, as they're going to look into. I think dirt guys, you're going to get your tire package. I think it's coming. I know they've said it, but it's hard to think that Junior is not going to, like I said, it's not a job for him. He doesn't need a job. He doesn't.
Right. He's not doing this for the money. And I agree with what Brooks just said too. Now they need to get Clint Boyer in iRacing too for the dirt side of things.
Well, Junior knows dirt. I mean, he's running these street stocks. He knows
a little better in dirt than what Junior is. Just my opinion. I could be wrong.
And I'm with you, but I think, I mean, you look back at what Larson was doing with iRacing, and I really think he was the dirt guy. He was really helping develop the dirt back here. So I think they still have a little of that packed away, and I think you look more at, I don't know, maybe a guy like Timez or
Jimmy Owens.
I mean, you look at somebody that's driving it now, because if you go back to Boyer, if you go back to these guys that driven it before, then it's not going to be as accurate as you want it. I mean, these guys, they know what it used to feel like, but it's not what it feels like now. So I think you need to get somebody in the sport now, endorse them, really push them forward and go.
And Brad just brought up a good point too, which, you know, touching on the Boyer situation again, they already sponsor Boyer's late model team.
Right.
I mean, so I think that could be a good relationship as well.
And I'm with you, but like I said, I just think they need to go for a guy that's really more so. And I know Clint's probably going to be running more dirt here that he's off of the NASCAR schedule and everything. But at the end of the day, I think they need to go with a younger guy that can help them progress further into the future. Excuse me.
Well, what you do is you go out and you get like a Clint Boyer, and then you get Clint Boyer to develop a team. So then he goes out and gets, you know, the younger guys like, who's his driver in the late model? Was it Davenport?
That I have no idea, honestly.
It's Richards. Richards is Clint's driver in late models. So, you know, Clint gets his information, because Clint is still hands-on. You know, he goes to a lot of the late model races when he's available and the Cup schedule doesn't interfere. He's down there hands-on with his team. So you get that. Now, I think on the flip side of that, you need to go out and get you a sprint car driver. You know, you find either you take like and find a Steve Kinzer, a Sammy Swindell. You know, Larson would be good.
They're not going to bring him back.
Huh?
They're not going to bring him back.
No, I doubt they will. But I'm just saying, you get somebody that has a lot of sprint car knowledge in there too to help develop that side, because I you know, I love the sprint cars on iRacing, but I think there is still room to grow on that side too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% agreeing with you. And people want to push the cars, but I agree with any time this debate comes up about iRacing is I don't think you need to push the cars right now like the Northeast mods. Don't push for that right now. Push for them to if you look at Weed Sport, I really feel like Weed Sport now is a very technical track. Makes it a little more fun. Now I really feel like you can push too wide at Lernerville. I feel like they're developing these tracks now for a better race environment. Let them continue doing this, because me as a broadcaster, I have seen a lot more dirt races now that guys are able to push the low side a lot longer into the race than they have in the past. They're able to go side by side here, and I really think that's a huge benefit, not only to the entertainment value that we put on here at CWTV, but to the people racing. It's just so much more fun to those guys out there and going side by side, and they can choose a lane. They know going into Kokomo or Eldora, it's not going to be topside dominant all night long.
And that's a good thing, because, a lot of the smaller tracks, you see as the race progresses, the groove keeps moving up and up and up, and then you're damn near wall riding because the groove, that's the only tack left. And I'm guilty of doing that because I'm not a good slick driver. But I have been working more on that and trying to get, once you kind of learn the throttle control on the slick, I'm not saying it's easy, but to me, that's the key part of it is learning the throttle control. And you can run the bottom groove. I've seen you do it, Tommy boy. I was spotting for you one. It was a 305 or 360 racer. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
It was 305. Yeah.
I was really shocked. I was like, damn, he's going down there low, and he was really making it work. So, I mean, it can be done. And I see why a lot of these guys start going low, because it's just a freight train up top. It's follow the leader. You're not making any passes up top, so you have to go down low.
And what that turns into is slide job city. And
buddy,
you don't necessarily want slide job city. You want slide job Sunday, but not slide job city. And Dustin Helms, that's exactly what I'm saying there, is I don't think right now you push, if you're going to push for more cars, I guess they have that Northeast modified kind of ready to go. Put that out. And then after that, just nail it down. Get the damage package like people want. Get the tire packages like people want, or the tire models. Get the tracks all situated to where they can run two lanes for a good amount of the race here. So I really think that they're doing a good job with it. But they like I said, I think at the end of the day, they need to really get that young guy in there. And I see what you're saying with Boyer, but at the end of the day, too, I think I've said that way too many times now. But I think Boyer, he needs to focus on one or two things. So he's got the broadcasting going next year, which probably not too much out of his schedule there. But then you have his team.
Kyle, we are talking about this, Sean.
the team on dirt here. So if he goes to iRacing and starts progressing that, he's almost start to look like Andretti now, where he's putting too many eggs or too little eggs into too many baskets. So I think
you can't say that though, because if you're saying that, then you should say Dale Jr. shouldn't be doing it, because Dale Jr.'s broadcasting. Dale Jr. has his nationwide team or Xfinity team. Dale Jr.'s in iRacing. Dale Jr. has his podcast. Dale Jr. still does appearances. So you can't legitimately say that Boyer's not the man for the job.
Well, and I see what you're saying there, but I don't know how much is Jr. really. Yes, he's the owner of that team in Xfinity, but how much time is he really putting in to that team? That I don't know. And then on top of that, like the podcast, I'm sure that does take a good amount of time. He's got this TV. He is pretty thinly spread himself, but he's not on the track at the end of the day. And I think that does come again.
Neither Boyer's not on the track at the end of the day.
Doesn't Boyer run in the Dirt Pro late model? I thought he ran it.
He might make some appearances here and there.
Okay, see, I thought he was on track more often, so that's my bad there. So, I do.
Dale Jr. spread way more thin than what Boyer is.
Hey, yeah, I'm with you there. Fair enough, but I think they just need to take that person on dirt, like you're saying, and really advance what they have, and I think that really pushes forward and goes forward. But you look at I think also people are kind of nervous to the extent where they think Junior is going to heavily weigh to the NASCAR side of things, and some things in the road or the asphalt side are going to fall to the back.
No, because see, I think Junior will really. I don't think he's going to push as much as the NASCAR as what people think. Because if you see Junior on iRacing racing, a lot of times he's not in the Cup cars. He's either in a street stock on asphalt or running something on dirt. He doesn't do a lot of the NASCAR stuff when you see him on, but I think he'll really. I think he's going to really develop the street stocks a lot more because I think they need to be tuned up a little more than what they are.
Yep, both sides of things,
especially on the dirt side,
right?
But I see a lot of great things coming iRacing's way, and I think Dale Jr. is going to have a big hand in that, and I think he's going to bring. I really think what Dale Jr. is going to bring to the table, he's going to start bringing back a lot of these old tracks from his show.
Right, I agree. I would agree, definitely, 100%. Why would you not travel to that? I mean, you can really knock two birds out with one stone right there. Hey, we're going to travel. We're going to film this show. We're going to scan the track at the same time, and we're going to go. You know what I'm saying? It's that bingo, bango, bongo right there.
Yeah, because wasn't when iRacing brought in North Wilkesboro and a couple other tracks, they actually hit up Dale Jr. because he had been to those tracks and got with Dale Jr. so they could go scan those tracks.
I agree with you. I like it. Austin's mom saying spreading thin extends the audience reach. Stretch Armstrong to get the word out. Hey, I'm with you there. That's what we're trying to push as much as we can here. I don't know. I think iRacing is doing phenomenal. I like the fact that right now iRacing is at the top. I'm not going to say iRacing in general, but I like the fact that one sim is pretty much superior than another. And I get competition is good, but at the same time, when I say that, it really feels like you're not splitting the masses here. A lot of people, you have a solid, ever since last year, you see probably an extra 2,000 people than what we saw when we first got on. Anytime you log on, you'd see an extra 2,000. Now, back when it was bad, you'd see an extra 10,000 people on there. So,
oh yeah, and just think, Tommy boy, we've been iRacing for a year now. I just had to renew my
year. Yeah, no, it's been over a year now. So,
because I got a ding on my phone went off for my Chase account, and I was like, "What's this 100?" And I was like, "Oh crap, iRacing renewal."
Right? What was that? Who's stealing from me? But no, I agree. And I think it sounds like a lot of people, a lot of the guys on here, the ladies on here agree with us that they really need to stick to what they have. I do think dirt needs more tracks. I think that goes without saying. Dirt needs more tracks.
I want Brownstown.
I hate saying this, but with Bristol coming to the NASCAR on dirt, you're gonna get that. I mean, that'll pop up in a day. They probably got that ready to go. You look at other tracks. I mean, with the dirt tracks, though, I think it would be. It's easier, I think, to pick these asphalt tracks than it is to pick dirt tracks. Because these asphalt tracks, a lot of the memories, a lot of these guys are going to buy these asphalt tracks because, man, I saw NASCAR back in the 90s at North Wilkesboro, and that was awesome. You know what I'm saying? That was good racing, so I want to race there. And with dirt, I don't know how you go about picking those races necessarily and how to make it happen.
Yeah, like I just said, I want Brownstown. That's the dirt track I really want. I want Brownstown. I think it should be in the game. I think it's a great dirt track. How about an official Checkers and Wreckers Kids League?
I'm down.
Hey, that could be doable. That sounds like we
got to find some race
idea.
control. I'll broadcast it, Mr. Stoner, but I am terrible at race control. I'm not going to lie there. especially behind the broadcast booth. It's a little chaotic if you got to get into race control. It just doesn't look necessarily right on the broadcast side of things because you got to keep touching buttons and moving a lot. And I get a little stressed. People that see me on the controls, I look like I'm flying a plane when I'm broadcasting. I got my controls right out of camera view here, but I grab them. I'm looking like I'm on a helicopter or a fighter pilot, something like that.
I'm not lying either. He's got a lot of stuff going on over there. I would be lost trying to figure out what's going on. What's up, Dwayne? Wings later, not tonight because it's slide job Sunday. We got racing to do. But why Dwayne's on here, give him a big shout out real quick. If you guys have kids or anybody playing baseball, softball, need some tees, hit up Dwayne, dude. He does custom tees. He can powder coat them about any color you want. They're pretty awesome. And speaking of powder coating, you need some powder coat work done, he's your man as well. I think he told me he had like a day or 2 day turnaround time.
That's quick. That's fast, and it's quality.
Powder coating, that's lightning quick. Because I know last time I had something powder coat, I think it took 2 weeks.
So absolutely hit up Dwayne there, guys. We'll give a link over to some of those tees and what he can do for you there, because definitely some good quality for a fantastic price right there. So let's move forward. He says, get Jason Burgess do wild flag man to do race control. He likes to do it. I didn't know he was a big guy on iRacing there. I know some guys that may be interested in some race control. Same day, $150 go-kart frame or quarter midget frame. That's a banging deal right there. Like banging deal. Corey Whitworth, our man, he's back on iRacing. He's back on iRacing. I saw him the other night. He got a win. I was so excited to talk to the boy. I say the boy, the man.
He was in a race I was in there, and I was at the street stocks. It was street stocks or late models or something. I don't remember.
He was running the Monster Mash there.
I didn't run that.
No, that's an interesting. I love the Monster Mash, guys. If you don't know what that is, the Monsters of Dirt throw it on each Wednesday at 7:30, and they join together 4 different classes of cars. So the Gander Mountain trucks, the super late models, the UMP modifieds, and the street stocks. All these go out at it. They have a absolute blast. They go at it. UMPs is what Whitworth was in. He was like he was a whole lap ahead of the rest of the UMP class, as well as a not completely lapped by I think he finished like 3rd overall in a UMP.
Nice.
So very
Garrett, give us some info on the Gobbler 100.
Got a street stock race at Knoxville. I think that's a VLR. It's an open set. These guys are going to whip it out there. Loads of money on the line. I want to say like $5K overall, maybe $2K to the winner. So it's one of those deals like 180 people, multiple rooms. They'll merge into one at the end of the day. And from there, it goes to everybody gets paid if you make the show. So if you're in the show, the live show at the end, you get paid there. It's kind of like what's going to be happen on CWTV. Did you see you're going to be in it, actually.
I was just going to say, we need to talk about that.
Absolutely. So we're going to be, we're a little sponsor of the event here for a Toys for Tots. Do you have the name exactly of the league there?
Let me look it up.
Because it's a race that the charity is going for Toys for Tots there here come Christmas time. And guys, really, this is something that it's just absolutely a great thing. And this year especially, you look at what's going on. You got families in need, guys. It's as simple as that. You know, we're together as people. So if we can help out, it's a fun deal. You guys pay $10 to get in a race any other day. So let half of the purse go to a good cause here. Join us on the fun with the Toys for Tots.
The league is Money Racing. That's the league. And then the flyer here, let me click on here. It's a 150 lap enduro derby benefiting the Toys for Tots. No cautions, no damage. fixed dirt street stocks at Knoxville. It'll be on November 28th at 7:30 p.m. 60 cars, $10 to enter. And so on your entry fee, $5 goes to the race for the purse, and then $5 goes to the charity for Toys for Tots. And there'll be other prizes given out to the drivers in there. And if you want to just donate to Toys for Tots in this race, hit them up and they'll take any donations you want to give. I mean, whether it be 5, 10, I mean, whatever you got to give. I mean, help some kids out for Christmas, because there's going to be some kids, that aren't so fortunate during Christmas time. So I think it's awesome that we're going to be a part of helping this race. And like Tommy Boy said, I'm actually going to run in it.
I'm looking forward to it there. Caleb's going to be running in the Gobbler. Guess who's back and running in the Gobbler here?
Guess who's back? Back again.
Prilliman's back.
Tell a friend.
So Jacob Prilliman making his return to iRacing as well. So we'll be
also going to be in the race that you're broadcasting too.
The Toys for Tots, yes. I think he was the one that kind of pointed them over to CWTV. So guys, appreciate each and every one of you who do mention CWTV as a possible broadcast. Anytime you see somebody looking here, I appreciate that. I know it goes without saying thank you so much to each and every one of you guys. And I guess we'll hop into some I think we had people really like that throwback kind of segment we did last week. So let's continue with that. Let's I'm kind of throwing you off here, catching you off guard, but let's look back in history. Do you have a favorite race overall in NASCAR that you can look back and maybe say, like, hey, I could watch this any Sunday. Let's throw it on. I'm going to grab some snacks, and I know who wins, but I'm still going to watch this race because it was that good.
I don't know if I really have a favorite NASCAR race. Now, we said IndyCar or F1. I could pick one of those, but NASCAR, I'm probably going to have to say the year Earnhardt won Daytona. That would have to be my favorite, just because I was an Earnhardt fan and watched for so many years and wanted him to win the Daytona 500. And he had so many mishaps.
Jarrett Murphy says the 97 All-Star race in Charlotte. That was was that the year of the T-Rex? That wasn't the year of the T-Rex, was it? That was earlier. That was like 95, 94 maybe. Caleb says the short track only season is what they need. That'd be fun.
That was the T-Rex car.
Yep, absolutely. I've got that die-cast sitting 3 feet from me over here. That's one of my favorite things there. We talked about that on the show before. Hey, here's the phone. Call your boss. Tell him that car's illegal. No, it's not.
Right.
It is tomorrow, bud. He ain't bringing it back. Good job today, but throw it away. Pitch it out there. That's an expensive $1 million out the door there.
And then what was the crappiest car in NASCAR? The COT. I'm sorry. That car was just atrocious.
I've got Corey Whitworth says Watkins Glen 2012. That's when they came at the line and they were beating and banging there. Was that Gordon and Bush?
No, that was after Rusty.
I think, was that Gordon and Bush, Corey? Remind me of that one there. But yeah, I've got Junior's car tomorrow over there as well. It's an ugly car. It really is. But I think you is that it? I can see that spoiler. Yep. Oh, Ambrose and Keselowski.
Oh, yeah, that was a good race.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I do remember that one. Marcus Ambrose, man, that was a solid driver for a little bit. But again, kind of like what we talked about with, oh goodness, who was it last week? He just didn't get his Mark Martin didn't get the credit kind of that he deserved. But I go back to a one I saw live, and I can't remember exactly. Or no, it wasn't. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who was it with the Bush? I didn't see this one live, but the Bush, it was one of the Bush brothers, went side to side, maybe Hamlin. It may be the closest finish in NASCAR history. It was like, it may have been with the car tomorrow as well. and they just locked up. They're both going at it, and all of a sudden they just turn into each other. Was it Hamlin and Busch?
Is that the one Chuck's talking about right here? Kurt Busch and Craven at Arlington?
Yes, exactly. That was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal there. That was I remember Dad and I both at that time just standing up going, oh my gosh, like what a race that was. You didn't see, that was way before the card tomorrow. Yeah. You didn't see that close of finish often. I mean, these guys would beat and bang, but I mean, they came in and it looked like the Indianapolis 500 I called yesterday for Elite. The gap was .001. I mean, it was like, wow, man, so close. And that's where, they made eye contact too before they made contact. They both looked over and went, yep, woo.
Or what about, what was it? I'm trying to think. Was it Keselowski at Atlanta? I want to say like 2010, 2011-ish maybe, where he, no, it was Carl Edwards, wasn't it? That got up to catch fence.
Yeah. And ended up taking. Yeah, I think so. I think you're correct there.
Was that Atlanta or Dig? I wanted to say it was Atlanta.
Atlanta, I think. But yeah, that was and that was really that was racing was pretty solid back then. They had some close finishes. They had some tight ones. But I mean, you mentioned IndyCar and F1 as well. I look back at IndyCar. One of my favorite ones I was live for was that finish between Marco Andretti and Sam Hornish Jr.?
Yep.
Whoo, baby, what?
Well, I have to say one of my fondest Indy memories, and I was there at that track. I was there at the race, and I was sitting right in that turn basically when Hildebrand,
yep,
out of 4, got the lead, goes to pass a lap car, goes up high around him and tags the wall. Instead of just letting out of the gas and coasting to the finish line, you win the Indy 500.
Right. So that was a solid one. And I think it's hard to, I mean, has there been other fantastic races I've seen on TV? Yeah. But when you're live at the Indianapolis 500 and you see these finishes like that, it's really hard to top a race like that. But you look at F1 and some of those historical races that they have had, and it's hard for me not to look back at I can't remember the year, 91, 92. Senna, one of his races there in the rain. I mean, he just absolutely gets a fantastic start off the jump there on the start and passes like 6 people into turn 1. It's wet. People are all over the place. And you knew that's where Senna would dominate, is he could really wheel a car on the wet pavement. So,
or what about when Senna was I can't remember what track it was at. I want to say it was Imola, maybe. I could be wrong on that. But he's leading the race, comes around, sees a driver, the car's on fire. Senna stops on the track, gets out of his car, leading the race, gets out of his car, goes over, pulls the driver out of the burning car and saves his life.
Yes, I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, that was I mean, to hop out during a middle of a race like that is absolutely fantastic. So it'd be interesting to see, going forward, like we said before with F1, we can move into kind of what we saw today with Lewis taking his historical championship here today. So people don't want to see these seasons now. It's kind of really, you'll see the decline, even farther in viewership here for F1 as the season means nothing.
No,
you have a really good race for mid-pack, 3rd place. That's really, really good racing back there.
So hell, even 2nd place. I mean, you got Perez getting 2nd place.
Oh, I'm saying overall constructors. So like I don't know, Red Bull even has it 100% nailed up yet.
Ooh, that's Bill. That's a good one right there.
The Belgian GP.
Yeah, Damon Hill and Ralph Schumacher.
Okay, I remember watching that on a highlight, I think. The 24.
Jarrett's comment there.
I was talking about that last night with somebody.
He to this day he says his father pulled him out of the car.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. That's kind of a spooky thing. He's never been the same driver ever since. I mean, we've talked about that before.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, the F1 season, I think, is really on the decline now. I really hope that with this new car of tomorrow for F1, if you will, that they really are able to reel it in and make something work and get that racing back to what we saw. Because when it's a wet track, when it's a slick track out here, when it's the conditions aren't favorable, it's good racing. So if they could somehow emulate that to every week, then F1 has one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining races every weekend. But right now, this is not what people want to see. I saw a stat the other day that says if you take Bottas out of the situation, Mercedes still is in the lead of the championship points.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people complain about F1 and how it's not a lot of passing, not a lot of tight racing, but that's been F1 for years. That's just the style of Formula One racing. There is not a lot of passing. You're not going to see them 2 and 3 wide in a turn except on the first lap. But I mean, you look when Schumacher ran. Schumacher went out there and totally dominated and would be miles in front of the field. Senna dominated, miles in front of the field. I mean, we can go back through the years. Now, I mean, you had James Hunt and Niki Lauda, you know, and everybody talks about their rivalry and everything. A lot of times that wasn't even close racing. One of them would get out in the lead and they were gone. They would check out. So, I mean, that's just the style of Formula One racing. But I am
that's more interesting to see
cars and see what the new cars bring.
That's more interesting, at least, to see every week, though, that there's at least a different driver that is taking away. You got Lauda this week, Hunt, Lauda, Nut, Hunt. You know, I mean, it's at least changing. Where I think people are disappointed this year, where what's Bottas have? 1, 2, maybe 2 wins. You've got Gasly with a win. I'm trying to think who else has a win this season. Verstappen.
Yes.
And Hamilton takes away the rest. Now, you could go back to, 2016 when Rosberg took it? And you have that kind of, that thrill, if you will, at least going into the weekend, but it was still Mercedes. But at least at that point, these guys are battling. You have some drama. And at that same regard, Rosberg tossed the rules of team racing out the window, and he said, "I'm going to win this championship. I'm going to take this. You guys aren't gonna say no." And I'm sure he got a few team members in trouble there as well.
Oh well,
exactly. Exactly. I mean, I don't.
If I got a chance to win the championship, guess what? I'm going to win the championship.
Exactly. I'm 100. You gave me this car to win with. I'm going to win.
And I wonder if that's why Nico stepped away from F1 at such a young age, because he had many, many years left to race and just walked away. And we never have heard why he stepped away. Daniel, you shouldn't be eating chili. You're on a diet, buddy.
Right. Yeah. Send it all out. I think he wanted to finish on top. He knew that Mercedes was going to keep him on a very, very short leash, if a leash at all, if they were going to re-sign him after the shenanigans he pulled that year. Because, like I said, he went against the grain. That's not what people wanted to see. But after he started pushing it so far at that point, you got to let him try for it. You got to let him go. But it wasn't to the point where Bottas a couple times this season has questioned the team's call on the radio. But at the end of the day, he never does anything about it. He goes with it. Where Rosberg, at the end of the day, he'll question it and he'll say, hey, I'm going to stay out, or you give me hards, or I'll just step out of this car. I mean, you tell me what's it going to be.
Well,
Your
that's where
sponsors
Nico
aren't gonna
should
be
try
happy.
to go to Ferrari or a different team, not just step away from the sport.
I
Because
think after
thought he
you
was
sit,
a very talented driver, and I don't know why he walked away.
I think after you sit in that seat and you realize how dominant that car is, because he didn't have an easy, if you will, way up. He drove some pretty rough vehicles, making his way up into that Mercedes seat. So I think once you realize how good that seat is and how well it's progressing, he knew in the back of his mind, nobody's going to beat this team, even if I've got a Ferrari, even if I've got a Red Bull. I don't have what it takes to beat this in the car. The driver can only do so much, which I'm not going to take away. We talked about that before with Hamilton. I think he's a fantastic driver. At the end of the day, you still got to steer that thing. So, but I don't think anything else has showed to be really comparable for Rosberg, because if Vettel couldn't do it the year that he tried with Ferrari in 2018, that he got that close, I don't think Rosberg could have either.
Well, but at that time, the Mercedes was strong, but I don't think it was the dominant car like it is now, because Ferrari and Red Bull was still competitive at that time, because I think didn't Vettel win a championship in those years when Mercedes was first starting out?
Yeah, he did with Red Bull, but at that point,
that's what I'm saying. And they were going against Mercedes at that point. Like I said, the Mercedes
but
wasn't the
Rosberg
dominant
wasn't in
car
a
it is
Mercedes.
now.
But Rosberg wasn't in a Mercedes then. At that point, he was still climbing up. I think he was what? He raced with Braun, maybe?
No, he only ran with Williams and Mercedes.
Williams.
And
Williams.
he ran with Braun. Braun was a strong team.
Yeah, it was the Williams team and that's that feeder. I mean, we see kind of Russell running that same program there. But he was up there. He was putting it into competition. And granted, Williams was a better car, a better ride at the point he was taking. It was still on the decline. So he
was over there from 06 to 09 at Williams, and then the rest of his career he was in the Mercedes.
So I mean, that is a decline in there. But so like I said, I mean, once you ride out that, so he did even ride in some rough Mercedes then. So because Mercedes wasn't dominant until what, 2012, 2013?
About 2013, because when Rosberg started at Mercedes, who was his teammate?
Schumacher.
Yes, and that's when they were developing the car,
Right.
which I'm trying to think. Was it Red Bull or was it Mercedes that took over Braun?
I want to say Mercedes, wasn't it?
I believe Mercedes took over Braun. So Mercedes had coming into it taking over Braun, because Braun was a championship team when they got out of it.
That was
with
Button,
Jenson
right?
Button.
Yeah, exactly.
So bringing in the Mercedes, it's not like they were coming in with a hunk of junk. It's not like they were coming in with like today's Williams. So they had a good standing in there. And then you have Schumacher come in and help develop the car and give them all the insights and everything from when he was at Ferrari. Then you put a young Nico Rosberg in there with him. You know, Mercedes has set themselves up for success since day one when they stepped into F1 again.
So, like I said, I think at the end of the day, I really do. I think I put it to Rosberg saying, hey, there's no better car on the grid right now than what I'm in. I'm not going to give this opportunity to myself again. I want to go out on top, because if not, I'm going to go in here and now hindsight, you're not going to say this then, but he's going to look like Sebastian Vettel. He's going to be a champion that was a once was. And now he's not a once was. He's a champion that finished on top.
That's true, Brad. That's true. But what I'm saying on that is they had their knowledge on the motor side of it, but not the chassis side. So when they come in and took over Braun, they had the Braun chassis, which was already, like I said, it was already a championship car.
Right. Now
so
that's
they
something
come in with the Braun chassis, put the Mercedes power in it, do some changes. You got Schumacher helping develop the changes. I mean, like I said, you were setting yourself up for success from the get-go.
And that's something too that, where was I going with that? The Schumacher deal, Mercedes. They have said, like with Red Bull and their partnership with Honda, they don't feel like they are at that Mercedes level because they aren't developing these two things together. They're developing one around another. So instead of taking your engine package, your power package, and your chassis and merging them together and developing them as one, you're taking your power unit that's developed for another chassis and trying to make it work for what you have. So you are at a slight disadvantage right there, but that's where you really hope these engineers that you have can kind of bump it up and push you over that edge.
Well, but the thing about it is they're not taking their chassis and that engine that engine's designed. So when they design the chassis, they're designing the chassis around that motor plant. So they know coming into the next season what the motor they're going to run is and what the specs on it are. So if they build a new car, they're already developing that car around that motor plant. But I get what Christian Horner was saying about it. And I think, Red Bull made a smart decision by taking over Honda. And now you're developing your own motor plant. You're developing your own chassis, which the new rule changes. You won't be developing your own chassis. So you're kind of back in the what he was talking about now. So now you're designing a motor to go into this chassis that's already developed, and that's the chassis you have to run.
Right, absolutely there. And that's what I do. I think that's sort of a somewhat of a disadvantage. You look at it and down the line, you just see that these guys that have been kind of the McLaren issue right now is they're doing the same thing. They're regardless of who they have behind them, they're still just a small bit below. You kind of look, I think Aston Martin is the move there that Racing Point is doing. I think that's going to benefit them there as well. But they're getting that power unit from Mercedes. So at the end of the day, you're still just a little farther off of the game.
Well, you're not going to give the customer the stuff as good as what you got.
No, absolutely not. Why would you?
Right. I mean, that's going to be,
So that's a premium, and you're still not getting it.
Right. But that's going to be in any form of racing. Like if you even karting, if you go against the engine builder, like say this is his son or actually the engine builder himself racing or whatever, or his team, and that's the same guy that's building your engines, you're going to get good engines, but you're not going to get as good as what they have.
Right. They got to run it. They got to make sure it feels good. You got to have a fast thing to sell. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm with you there, but you have that backup package there that you run yourself that has a little more tuning on it.
True. Very true.
So I'm trying to think really, anything else you can think we need to hit on today? I don't think any moves since we talked on IndyCar. I think some guys are definitely looking. I think Grosjean's definitely looking.
Real fast, I got a tidbit. Last night, so Jimmy Owens hops in somebody else's car and goes out and pretty much spanks him. So, that's why I had to wear my Owens stuff today. Fair
enough. And real quick, big news actually that we forgot to mention. Sometimes we talk about stuff before the show, and I get to thinking that we talked about it on the show. But IMSA, they finished out their season yesterday. Penske gets a win, and I know our buddy over there, Dwayne, probably shed a couple tears yesterday because Alexander Rossi raised that championship trophy under a Penske name there. It just had to make him cringe.
With Castroneves and Ricky Taylor.
Yep, absolutely. So,
and here's what's cool. I watched the majority of the 12 hours yesterday. So Wayne Taylor, which both his sons race cars, and neither one of them raced for his team.
They race against them.
So both his sons went out and win championships yesterday. Ricky won DPI, and then Jordan won what is it? GTLM that the Corvette runs in.
Right, yep.
And let's talk about that for a minute. Corvette, the new mid-engine Corvette, the C8R, first season.
Oh, it's on fire.
They go out and win the championship.
On fire. They built it. They knew what they were doing when they put that in line. I mean, you had to know. A Corvette, that car is synonymous in the racing series. It was falling off. They knew it. That large body just wasn't working anymore. It was a thing of the past. They had to get to something there. They found it, and good luck to everybody else, because I think that's going to be a dominant car here moving forward.
Well, and I think Porsche is stepping out as far as factory rides, and then going back to the DPI news. So, yesterday was Penske's last race in IMSA. And so Wayne Taylor Racing is getting one of the Acura rides, and Ricky Taylor is going to actually come back and race for his dad, because originally Ricky and Jordan both ran for their dad. Now Ricky is coming back to that team
because he's got the Acura back.
Experience in the Acura.
Exactly.
And so with Wayne Taylor stepping away from Cadillac,
I mean, Cadillac's done, right? Wrong.
Who's taking that and filling that position?
Mr. Ganassi coming in with the checkbook and throwing out another run. And you know what? I don't know exactly who they're running for, but I guess there's a super team in the works for the 24-hour road course. You see this? Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, and maybe a couple other guys obviously thrown into that mix. I don't know who else is rumored to be on that with him, but you throw the dinger on there, maybe Briscoe. Whoo, baby, you might have some NASCAR boys go out there and win something.
You could throw in Colton Herta in that mix.
I think they want to do like a NASCAR deal where they, like I said, so I'm excited to see Jimmy alone in the 24-hour. I did not know that, Brooks.
I didn't hear that
either. What was I saying there? So you got Jimmy Johnson. I'm excited to see in him. So I think that would be fantastic. Chase Elliott, I believe that would be a sports car debut for Elliott right there. Am I wrong?
Didn't he run? I thought he's already been in a sports car. I could be wrong on that.
So it would be interesting to see, though. I can't wait for it. I think it'll be just completely fantastic. And I don't know if it's DPI that they're going to be running, or if they're going to take over like maybe that Chevy team and who ran over a Chevy Corvette last year in IMSA. Do you remember that 24-hour?
Well, Garcia and Jordan Taylor are in the 3 car, I believe. And then the 4 car, I don't remember who runs that.
Do you remember who made a one person appearance for the 24-hour last year in a Corvette?
No, I don't.
Kyle Busch.
Oh, that's right.
So do they run a Corvette there? Because all these guys, you look at them, pretty much backed by Chevy.
Daniel, to answer that question, I don't think you'll ever see Dale Jr. back in the 24-hour. I don't think he'll ever get in a sports car ever again after what happened that one time.
No. And I don't think Jeff will ever get in a car again because of his back, especially not an endurance race. You imagine your back after, especially because that seat's not formed to you; it's formed to the average of your team. Gordon would hate that. That would be miserable on your back. Poor old guy. I would like to see Gordon in like what Bill Elliott runs though, that vintage series.
Yeah,
I think that would be. Have you ever seen that? It's kind of like that. They run the old stock cars. So
like the 87s.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that would be a solid deal to see those guys into there.
No, I didn't get to see the Bahrain race, Dwayne, but I was watching IMSA. So let's go back to the IMSA race real quick. So Townsend Bell runs the Lexus.
He can still wheel that thing too.
Is that Meyer Shank that he runs the Lexus for?
I'm not 100% sure.
No, I don't remember the team that he runs. And there's two of those Lexus. They're both the bright yellow and they're cool looking cars. So I believe it was the number 4 vet comes through the turn and he had an oil fitting loose. So he was dumping oil on the track. So the next 2 cars to come through are Townsend Bell and his teammate in both the Lexus. And what happened? Both of them spin and hit the wall.
Oh, man.
And Bell was leading in his class, I believe. And then there was a few more cars that hit the oil and spun too. And then later on in the race, I believe this was nighttime, the number 3 Corvette's in the lead in GTLM, and he's going to him and an LMP2 car going, they're battling, which I don't know why they were battling, but anyways, one of them let the other one go. But did they do that? No. And they get tangled up, and the 3 car in the lead spins, wrecks. He didn't tear the car up, but he fell back, and he didn't end up winning the race, but he did enough to win the championship. So that race yesterday was crazy. It was chaotic.
Absolutely there. That's one I'll definitely have to go back and take a look on. Watch some highlights from that one, because Sebring, that's a definite bucket list for me. I would think after everything would clear out, I think that would be a really cool event to go see and have some fun with.
And we both love the IMSA cars, so I would love to go to Sebring and see I don't care any IMSA race at Sebring.
Right? Yeah, we both enjoy a party too, so it's it's a good little combination there. I think that's is that everything now today?
I believe so. I mean, we don't really have I think the only thing going on in karting right now is we got Daytona coming up. There might be some indoor dirt races going on. And then next month we have the go-kart swap meet over in Ohio. So if anybody's looking to go out and score some parts or some deals or something like that, go over to Ohio. It's not a long trip. It's pretty, I think it's maybe an hour and a half from where we are.
We should go out there for a little fun.
Oh, we're definitely going. I know Dad's already going. Dad goes every year.
Your dad's already waiting.
So.
He has got that day circled on the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
You ask around him, hey, when's that swap? And boom. He is on it. He's good. Your dad, you say karting, he's on it, man. You're there. No, I don't think he misses a thing.
Oh, I think he's more excited than I am about having a cart and getting back into it.
I could believe that. Now, I did see real quick it was one of the 206 sites that I'm on, or on Facebook, one of those groups. They were posting a electric cart. Now, it's not that Lamborghini one that I've showed you before. This is a completely different one, and they're calling it the LO206 Killer. You said karting, and here he is.
It's in February. My bad. Not next month.
He said, no, it's not. I got it circled. I'll tell you exactly when it is. But they're calling it the LO206 Killer here. So I thought one of the kids were creeping up on me. That's pretty interesting there. I think maybe going into the future, you're going to see some of that, because, I mean, Briggs & Stratton already announced that they are in case, and he was wrong.
I was wrong. That's my dad had to correct me on that.
Duke's got you. But no, this thing looks pretty killer there. So I'm looking forward to seeing. We talked about it before. Again, you're going to get in the debate. Oh, I don't like electric. I like gas. But if they're able to put the same power to the same weight, if they're able to get the same torque out of it, at the end of the day, to me, it's all the same. So I'm interested to see how they progress with something like that.
I mean, it could be interesting. It's just going to depend on how cost effective it's going to be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to spend $10,000 on a cart because it's electric.
Right.
Well, you don't have to pay for gas ever. Well, that's fine. It's $2 and some a gallon. I'm all right with that. So, no, absolutely. I think that is all we got for you here today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here today. As always, you can
remember.
Slide Sunday.
I don't know where we're racing at tonight. We know it's going to be 305s and 360s as usual, but I don't know what tracks we're running at.
And then I think the Pricks of Pavement are over at Chicagoland. We're going to be having some fun over on CWTV. Lately, I've been getting in those 305s. We have some fun there before I got to rush over to the last week I made the feature in the 305.
Pricks was at Talladega tonight.
You're right. Yeah. What I say, Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get so confused. There's so many leagues I do. One place is at Chicago. The other is at Talladega. The other is Bristol. Makes it fun. I feel like a rock star. I feel like I'm a rock star. I'm at Talladega. Welcome to Bristol, everybody!
Picks of the week for what, Daniel? There's no racing today.
We'll pick the week.
The F1 race.
Yeah, we'll do the F1. Checkers, I'll go starting from 6th. I think he's going to pull up. I think he's going to take the championship today. I'll say Lewis Hamilton. You got an idea? Any picks? If not,
I'll go with Lewis Hamilton.
Okay. The wrecker, I think Giovinazzi, he started good with this, a good qualifying. It was in the rain. I think he's going to fall back here today. I'm going to go with Giovinazzi as my wrecker.
I'm going to go right there with you. And then for a dark horse, I'm going to take Perez.
Ooh, now he starts 3rd, but we'll see if he can hold on to it here.
You know what? Scratch that. A dark horse, I'm going to go with Vettel.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a tough one. He's not had a solid season all year. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with, right behind Vettel, starting Sainz. I think, starting 15th. I think he's going to pull it into 5th. We'll say 5th. So okay. We'll see how those guys turn out here today. Well, hopefully we nail it right on the head. I don't know. We'll see.
My picks haven't been so good this year, so I hope today I really get it.
We'll see. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, you can tune in to www.bwsports1.com. That again is what? All the happenings over there. www.bwsports1 as the numeral like Formula 1.com. bwsports1.com. Check that out, and a big shout out to all of our fantastic sponsors and partners here. Shawn Nugent, the Rockstar Realtor over there at Talk to Tucker. We got John Wayne Buzzard over at First Financial Bank, Abruzzi Racewear, ButtKicker Gamer 2, Auralex Acoustics, and as always, all those fantastic leagues and teams that we are teamed up with. And we got some guys in the gobbler here this week. Good luck to everybody out there. Howdy. Hit them.
Peace. We're out.